Yeah, hey, yeah, down time, hey, in the ring, yeah, down time in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Down times in the ring, we gon' hustle till it's gone. Down time in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Down time in the ring, yeah, we got it till it's gone. Down time in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Down time in the ring, yeah, we hustle till it's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Downtime in the Ring Live. What's going on, everybody? It is a new era in professional wrestling, but it is the same weekly podcast show live thing we do every single week. Because this week, for the third week in a row, we are glad to have our wise man representing the Exegesis podcast, DJ, on with us. This week, this is going to be awesome. He didn't get a chance to actually speak his mind for WrestleMania Night 2, so we're going to give him a little bit of a way to just do that. Then we're going to talk about the Raw after, the craziness that has happened in NXT with the mention of another promotion, which was kind of cool, and so many more things in the world of professional wrestling. Only 4 days after WrestleMania 40, after the end, after Cody won the belt, 4 days have only happened, and so much craziness has gone on in the ring, out of the ring, away from the ring, to the side of the ring, behind the ring, under the ring. Everything is going on. So, DJ, we're going to start off. We're going to let you, talk about WrestleMania Night 2. What did you think?
All right. Wow. So I'm going to have to backtrack just a little bit. So night 1, I gave it a B- to a B. I watched it the next morning and watched over again, specifically the ending. And a lot of my reservations during the match went away. And I'm not sure what changed for me, but I kind of, after watching it again, kind of understood more of the story they were trying to tell. And I understood it a lot better. And I don't know if it was just in the moment that I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. But watching it back, man, that was a match. They really knocked it out of the park. Not necessarily wrestling wise, but the story they told was phenomenal. So I had to bump it up to we're now in the A to A- category. A few hits, few misses, some home runs. Very good. Then it came to night 2. And holy crap, what a difference. So A+ for night 2. It was everything that I could have absolutely hoped for. The spots were there, the matches were there, quality wrestling. I mean, the wrestling on night 2 was so much better than night 1, and the stories were still there as well. So yeah, absolutely loved it. I wish I could have called it a little bit better. Some of the things I did not know about, but that's all right. That's what makes it fun. And makes it that much more of an enjoyable experience. Is you never know what wrinkle that they're going to throw into you. So I'm not going to belabor the fact. I was glad that Cody got to finish the story. No idea where they're going to take it from there, which again is another cool aspect. I'm not going to go match by match, but excellent. Best WrestleMania I've seen in a very long time. I'm going to have to go back, rewatch it, and see where it fits into my scale. As of right now, it's a top 5 for sure. But I'm old, as we say, and I'm kind of set in my ways. So I do enjoy a lot of the older WrestleManias as well. But yeah, quality.
Overall, so WrestleMania, getting to see everything online, getting to see the aftermath and what's being announced, the projects they want to do, the lack of a giant Titantron on the stage to now being just straight up like, we're going to lower the screens, we're going to give people more of a exclusive feel, we're going to try and pack the arenas. It's crazy when Triple H said nothing's going to be the same, and now nothing is. The Raw did not feel like Raw did not feel like a typical Raw. Like it felt, you could not feel Kevin Dunn. You could not feel name redacted. You couldn't feel any of them. It was a whole new promotion in some eyes. The fact that, and what I am surprised, sir, is the fact that you did not complain about the first hour. You didn't say too much talky, where's the wrestling? You were in. I was like, this must be good because DJ hasn't texted at all saying, what, stop talking. I was looking at Morgan. I was like, this is good then. This is solid. So
yes,
I enjoyed it. It was amazing, to have Cody come out, actually get his flowers, The Rock come out. You could tell that this Rock is defeated. This Rock is like, I got to go away for a while. I love the way he talks to the audience too. It sounds like he's like this mythical god, this creature, this Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy. He's like, The Rock's got to go away now, but The Rock will come back. And I was like, I even sat there and I was like, but I don't want him to go. Oh wait, yeah, he's got to go film he's got to go film a UFC style movie, which he really does. And then getting the information that certain movies are pushed back because he wants to do this again. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. But the fact that, Cena came out, the fact that, the JD got their praises, which I love the segment with the JD and R-Truth coming out. He's like, hi! I loved it.
The man you can't see.
Wrestling is fun again. And were there any spots for you guys on Monday Night Raw that stuck out to you that were super, super exciting?
So I'm sorry, DJ. I'll start off.
No,
first.
Go.
So the one thing that I've always been conditioned with the Raw after Mania is there's always a surprise. It's the Raw after Mania. Where are they going to take this? And we didn't get this last year because of reasons, but we got an NXT showcase in a sorts. And like, that's the whole point of like the Raw after Mania for me is, okay, who's getting called up? Like who are they going to put their chips into? Like I'll harken back to when Enzo and Cass showed up the Raw after Mania, like the hype behind all that and just the excitement of seeing NXT stars finally getting that good push or that spotlight. And on top of that, it's the champions that are getting that. So we even got a what's it called? Like a video package for one of the newer stars to debut in Javon Evans.
Yeah.
That dude. Oh, but we'll get on later with that. But I'd say like the Raw itself, the R-Truth segment with JD, it didn't feel like Damian was like how we've been saying up until the lead up of Mania. It's like, oh, he's gonna cash in and it's gonna be kind of lackluster. I don't know.
No,
they're kind of proving me wrong on this, and I'm kind of liking that they took the route with the comedy where they're still kind of adding truth into it. So it's interesting. I'm curious. I can't predict it at this point. So
yeah, I was captivated at first. I wanted to see what was going to be said. Cody getting his flowers again, to start it off. It was good. A little long. I expected them to come out, The Rock to come out a little bit sooner. what got me curious was what was handed to Cody. That little bit of mystery, that little nugget is going to be sticking with people for a long time. What was it? Was it, I'll see you at the Royal Rumble? Was it, I'll, a watch, a ring, one of those little beads off the tribal chief's necklace, since now the tribal chief is now defeated. So, I mean, there's so many different possibilities that it could be. And yeah, that was great. Loved seeing R-Truth pop up and say, yeah, we got the tag team titles. And it's like, no, all right, well, you can't see, I've been talking to this guy, you can't see him, but I've been talking to him. And Miz is like, you're nuts. What are you talking about? And in the chat, I was like, it's got to be Cousin John. Got to be. And sure enough, he comes out and just pops. I think one of the biggest things that really struck me throughout the night was after Stand and Deliver, after Mania for 2 nights, the crowd was still in it. Yep. They were still energized and ready to go. And it was absolutely amazing. There was no down portion for the crowd. And when the crowd is into it, that gets us at home into it. And yeah, it absolutely was amazing. He's coming. He's coming. And we were talking about the Bronson Reed and how someone should tape like a pink slip to the Andre the Giant trophy.
Yep.
Because whoever wins it doesn't really, within a few months or so, they're gone from the company.
Yeah.
And so I was watching his interview and saw the glitch, and I'm like, what was that? And so rewound it, and I'm like, someone saying hello. All right. And then afterwards to find out the song that was playing before they even went live. In the lyrics of the song, I'm like, ooh, all right. So maybe it's Bo. Maybe it's Little Miss Bliss. I've heard lots of rumblings out there on what they're going to do and who they could bring forth. And from everything I've seen so far, it looks like SummerSlam will probably be the reveal, but we'll have to see on that. But yeah, excellent show. Love the energy.
Did you see the WWE Twitter today?
Yes.
I have not. No.
It was a tweet, and it was about like 17 hellos in a paragraph, and then it was deleted. So that's going to be our thing.
Ooh.
Is instead of the rabbits, it's going to be hello, which is going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see how they bring him into this, because no matter what, already, no matter how long they take with this build up, he's gonna pop that first night.
Oh,
he'll pop a few more promos, and then we'll start getting into a story, and then that's when people will finally put their foot down and be like, okay, how are we going to, honor Bray's vision with this?
Mm-hmm.
But for the first night, the first couple of pops, it's going to be like when Bray came back. The world is going to be on fire. Everybody's going to be happy. The Fireflies will forever live, which was something that Morgan kind of got to realize and calm down a bit after watching the documentary, is that the concept of the Fireflies will never ever disappear. Like that is a straight up, that's like doing the too sweet, that's like saying suck it, that's like doing all that, is that it will be there. The lights go out, and if you don't hear the gong, you immediately put your phone up, because you're like, okay, we're gonna do something. There's two things, like when the lights go out, it's a gong. Oh, you get excited. If it's not a gong immediately and you're waiting, then obviously you're like, okay, I guess we're Fireflies for this moment. So that's something cool. we actually texted about it. We talked about The Rock, going back to the Rock segment. You were like, what did he give him? And I was like, I can wholeheartedly say it'll be later down the road that Cody reveals that he gave him like a few bucks and was like, that's why he said, don't ever break my heart again, because The Rock probably wanted Cody to finish the story the first time. And then that's what kind of led The Rock into believing that he was the final boss. Was, well, Cody couldn't beat him the first time. Why does it matter now? So I believe that's what it could be, is $7, but only like a few dollars are ever seen. And that's kind of like the way The Rock only had $7 when he came and, you know, essentially became The Rock. Cody had to leave, be at his lowest, go to Impact, go to Ring of Honor, go to Evolve, go to blah, 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 and then finally build himself up to be the Cody that now is taking the world over. And something that was brought to my attention, and I want to get your thoughts on it, was somebody has commented, okay, now that Cody's the guy, now that Cody is there and Seth is taking some time off, because it's been confirmed like he's going to take some time off, not too long, but just enough to, you know, not scream when he has to walk. Seth is gone. The Rock's gone. Roman's gone, but he's still active on Twitter. Like, who out of those four was the guy? And obviously it was Roman. Now that it's Cody, like, can his promos carry? And I had this conversation with Morgan. I was like, look, people are just waiting to sour on Cody's reign. Like, you have those fans who are like, I can't wait till it's done. And I'm like, look, whatever feud he gets in right after this, it's not going to be as big as what we just went through. And we have to respect that. We have to understand what we just all went through. Like, we're not going to have that for a long time. So we have to respect it and be like, okay, so think of this. It's like a winner of the King of the Ring goes on to face Cody. The winner in Saudi gets to go on face Cody later on. I'm like, cool, tournament arc. Let's go through it. Let's have fun. Cody can wrestle every once in a while, cut a couple of promos, shake a couple of babies, kiss some hands, do all that kind of stuff. And then we respect it. But if we're into like August or like October and he's wrestling like Bronson Reed, he's wrestling like, you know, these people that we're not too big on, or WWE is just trying to find, like, throw something into him, then we're in a problem. And we're not there yet, so we don't have to worry about it. But there are so many people now who are like, when are you gonna shaking babies and kissing hands? Yes, I said that correctly. When is everybody gonna sour on Cody's reign? And I'm like, let him breathe first. Let him relax. He can cut promos for the next like 2-3 weeks. I don't care. After everything that we just witnessed, let the man enjoy it. Let him go to where's he from? He's from Georgia. Let him go to a Braves game wearing the WWE championship. Let him go to, you know, something. Let him enjoy it. Don't automatically go, well, who's next after Cody? Because then that title will never mean anything. Roman kept that title for so long, and the workhorse title is what Priest has. So now Priest has to be the workhorse. Cody can finally not be the workhorse, relax for a little bit, enjoy himself, and hold off. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you feel about that? How do you feel about the next story that we're going to go into?
You want to go, Chris? You want me to?
You can go, because I'm still trying to think about that.
All right. And I agree 100%. He needs to enjoy the moment. Do the talk show circuit. Do Fallon. Do Kimmel. Whatever. Hit the games. Worlds, or not World Series. I don't know, whatever games are out there. Some baseball games, some NBA games, whatever. Enjoy it. I do think that they need to start a program with him.
Yeah.
And I think I know who it could be. But You don't want it to cool. You want it to keep that momentum going, because if he's off for too long, people are going to say, "Oh, well, he was bagging on Roman Reigns for not ever, defending the championship." And if he doesn't start defending it, then people are, "Oh, you're just like Roman." And
Yeah.
so, and that might be part of the arc that we get, is that he does take a little bit of time to tour around and, hey, thought you were going to be something different than Roman. We've already seen this story before. Defend your title and blah, blah, blah. And then we'll get the opponent revealed. And I guess I could say it here first, who I think the opponent's going to be. And that is none other than the phenomenal AJ Styles. Because if you think back, one of the last people to defeat Dusty Rhodes was AJ Styles. So the promos write themselves. I beat your dad. Now I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to take your title.
Battle of the Bullet Club. I would like that, because the amount of I feel like even with the way WWE is currently, they'd be like, yeah, these two guys, they were part of the same faction, and we'd just be like, oh. So I'd like that.
At least a first program. They know each other. They know each other well. I think they would work well together. I think their styles are comparable, and we could get some really good matches. But that's my thoughts.
Now that you throw the AJ thing in, now I have to completely rework that.
and then out of nowhere, because the JD are who they are, AJ Styles is going to go for the phenomenal forearm. Dom hits him in the back of the head. You see some random bullshit, and Finn Balor waiting right on top with the coup de grace to come down.
You really? Yeah. I would like to see a three-way between those three, just like Bullet Club's full Civil War, just minus Kenny Omega. I would kind of like that, just making a triple threat. But I think the way they did it on Raw, that like, okay, these are the next four guys who are going to go up for Seth's title. There's Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, which I don't think should have won. I think it should have been McIntyre, to be honest. I feel like it was. There's a whole thing on that, but I think the more they establish like multi-man matches a little bit more with triple threats and fatal four ways towards the upper main card, and they kind of showcase, okay, these are the four guys who's going to be kind of like the go-to, given that they should have the promo skills such as like Styles and stuff and that Stardom piece, but it's also going to be in that factory pace where it's like, okay, well, we got the program with these guys next for Cody. We got these guys in the mid card kind of coming out of a thing, So I feel like they have it kind of very structured well, and we don't know exactly what that structure is going to be like until it happens on the television screens. So it's like, because like 2 weeks ago we were talking mad shit about Ricochet, and he beat Bronson Reed in a crazy spot, and he's been like Superman Ricochet that we've seen on the indies for years ago, and all of a sudden he's back. So I'm like, I think I might want Ricochet to be kind of like one of those like first starter matches to like, hey, this guy's kind of been putting in the showcase for the leading up weeks. Let's see what happens to the championship. Don't let him win, but kind of like put him up against that kind of thing, and have Cody do what he did with the TNT title, where he's like kind of like giving like, hey, you think you can beat me? Come see if you can hold up. That's what he did back in AEW. So like,
the poster came out today, and it shows Cody and the title beautifully. So we know Cody's going to have a championship match. We know it's going to be the main event. We know that it's going to kind of be the beginning to his title run. I don't see Roman being in France. I think that we won't see Roman again until maybe Saudi for a promo and SummerSlam for an actual match. Just let him rest too. Man carried this as long, even when he was gone, he still had to go places, do things, shake babies, kiss hands, do all that kind of stuff for WWE, even though he wasn't on TV every week. We can't forget that man did carry us through 4 years. So whoever goes up against Cody first, I feel bad for. I'm excited, but I also feel bad for, because I'm like, man, you're the test. If y'all's match is poor in compare, or like poor just any way, people are gonna hate Cody and you no matter what. So it's gonna be that right there.
It puts a litmus test at least. It's like, okay, y'all want to be that guy. Let's put you up with that guy that we say is that guy.
Mhm.
And because he's got more to prove now than, and you got and you think you have more to prove. Let's see it. Let's see
Like,
it. So it's
like, if it was Ricochet, like theoretically it's Ricochet, and they put on a banger match, nobody's gonna care that Ricochet doesn't have a title, because he's gonna be basically just another Jey Uso where you get super excited. Like, I yeet when Jey Uso comes out, I'm gonna start doing the one and only when he comes out. But if the match is just bad, and I'm not talking about bad chemistry, because you can work around that with certain spots. I'm just saying, like, Ricochet botches a few times, or the match just doesn't grab us the way it should. People are going to look at, one, they're going to look at Cody and be like, is this the guy? And two, they're going to forget about Ricochet, which I think is even worse than questioning if he's the guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like you said, this is the test. This is the literal test. In France is going to be the test. Thank God we don't have to wait overnight again to watch it. We can watch it in the morning. We can have burritos and watch it. We may, you know what? That's actually our first watch along too. And we can have burritos.
Wait. What? Depends on the burritos. Depends on the burritos.
Blake's.
Yes, let's do it.
We can do it. See, like, wrestling's so much fun, but it's also so like, oh, now we just got over the biggest hurdle and it went perfectly. But now can this man hold it on his own without all the shenanigans and just a straight one-on-one? That's going to be the interesting part.
Yeah, I think it's too early to go back to the well with Bloodline. So I don't think we're going to see Solo. I don't think we'll see Jimmy. I don't think Jay's got his own problems that he's working through. So I don't think we're going to see that. But I was curious, what are y'all's thoughts on the Bloodline? What do you think that they're going to do with them now that Roman and Rock are off TV for a while? Are they just going to do solo stuff? Do you think? I have an idea, but I want to get your ideas first. So, what do you think is going to happen to the Bloodline?
So Jacob has signed. I think they will test and see what he can do, but I think that the Bloodline, I think Jimmy and Jay, or Jimmy and Solo, may go down to NXT for a little bit. Like, not they'll pop up on Friday nights, but they'll also be at NXT to debut Jacob and be like, oh, you thought this was over? We're just going to build ourselves back up. We don't have Roman. We don't have the final boss. Basically, this is going to lead into Solo becoming the tribal chief. And Roman's going to have to go back to being Solo. And I think Roman is going to be just a solo star again, where he won't have Heyman. He won't have anybody. He'll have to do what he did during the This Is My Yard and the Big Dog era, and he'll have to just work off his own momentum.
So I like the idea of Solo and Jimmy going back. With the addition of Jacob, I kind of see, and maybe it's too early for it to happen, considering like they're trying to push Jay. where I feel like since with the addition of Jacob Fatu, I see Solo turning on Jimmy because Jimmy's being an idiot. Solo again becomes that tribal chief aspect and he starts kicking people out of the bloodline. Jimmy being the first, and he teams back up with Jay. And in turn, he brings in Jacob, and it's Solo Jacob versus Jimmy Jay. And you have that aspect going on. In terms of adding another person to that bloodline in this instance, maybe Rock comes back. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving like a time frame here. I'm just kind of giving like my thoughts of what would be that way. At least in my opinion. I see Jimmy J versus Solo and Jacob, and Solo goes over with Jimmy J, and Roman comes back and then it's the bloodline as a face. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the proper Civil War where it's that way. I kind of see it in that aspect. I don't think it should happen this year, but we don't know at this point. We don't know if Jay's even World Heavyweight Championship ready. Particularly, that's another person I question as to like, are you guys gonna put the thumb on the button right there and go for it, or are you kind of like dealing, or you kind of waiting for Punk to heal up again? It's that weird thing. It's that weird thing. So,
and I think I agree with you there. One, I don't think Jay is ready. He's good, but I don't think he is heavyweight belt ready. I'd like to see him either with you can't take the U.S. title off of Logan, Intercontinental for a little while, give him a belt, see how he does with it, go from there. I do think that they're going to build in the story that we're going to get up for the next year is a bloodline civil war. And every so often you're going to get a new member of the bloodline. So they'll bring in Jacob. Hopefully they'll bring in Zella and have him on a side. I think that you'll see the females get into it. Nia, Naomi, who else? Tamina. Get into it as well. And I think there's a few more that are out there that they could bring in and have this big culmination. And then you get, it turns out that you have The Rock controlling one side and giving advice. And then you have Roman on the other side giving his advice. And that will culminate into a match, probably WrestleMania 41 or so, somewhere around there, where it's now, who's going to be ultimate control of the bloodline? Is it going to be Rock or Roman? And Roman beats Rock because, younger, and then, just go from there. So I think that we will get a civil war. We already got the Endgame Avengers type ending this year. I think we're going to have a Civil War Avengers style type mashup for over this next year, and I'm all for it.
It's weird, like, Monday Night Raw, the fact that the old guard is officially gone, the new guard is in charge, and we can actually think of, they're going to pick this person from the indies. They're going to actually they're watching, WWE's now being more lenient with the indies themselves. Leads to the only thing that I liked about NXT. Didn't really care too much about NXT. More excited that they will have a better and bigger part of the draft, unlike the previous years where it's like, this random person went to NXT and NXT only got 3 picks out of all of them. Is that they're actually going to be a prominent role and considered another brand. was the fact that Charlie Dempsey talked about Bloodsport, the fact that Bloodsport got talked about, the fact that it broke the fourth wall. I felt like Charlie Dempsey was Deadpool at that point. That whole segment, I was like, wow, they are talking about a whole nother universe. And the crazy part is that a lot of WWE tribalists are not going to know anything about what he's talking about. And I'm like, dude, there's a whole universe out there. So that's the only thing I cared about for NXT. I was like, okay, cool. I enjoyed that. What about you guys? Did you guys watch NXT?
I saw Meat versus Meat with Obafemi and Eric.
Ivar.
My bad. It's Eric Ivar. I'm so used to them being a tag team, but I'm okay with this matchup. It makes me want to watch NXT now just to see that.
That'll be interesting overall.
Yeah.
What about you, DJ?
I like what they're doing with Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. I loved her as a face.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I really did. She just had that it quality. And then I was like, well, how is she going to do if they make her heel? And I think I like it even more. It's just, it's a different side of it. And I love the story that they're telling with it. And I was trying to explain to somebody the other day that doesn't watch wrestling, and they're like, well, how can you get into something that's scripted? And I'm like, well, because it's a story. Yes, it's physical. Yes, they're wrestling, and thankfully they didn't use the word fake. But yes, it's scripted. They know who's going to win. The whole point of it is telling a story, and then using their athletic ability to just convey that much more. And they're knocking it out of the park on all aspects. SmackDown killing it, Raw killing it, NXT is just phenomenal. And they get a lot of detractors because they had a 3-hour show and they only wrestled for an hour and 45 minutes, and the rest of it was just filler. No, the rest of it was just story. And they're explaining why these people are going at each other rather than just, we're going to match this person and this person. You guys go. Next week. You won that one. So we're going to put you up against this guy and this guy over here. You're going up against him. Go have a match. Just make it a good match. And there's no context to it. And a lot of people like that, but that's just, to me, that's never what wrestling was about. It's always been about telling that story. So I love it. I saw what they did. I'm still expecting, how do you pronounce it? Ilya Dragunov. I still expect him to come. Oh yeah, that was crazy. I still expect him to become part of Imperium, or implode Imperium.
That's more like it. Implode Imperium.
One or the other. It's great. He's going to be a fantastic addition. I think that he'll get picked up in the draft. And that's another thing is, there's so many deserving people in NXT that they showcased time and time and time again. Hopefully it's not Carmelo Hayes or Trick Williams, because I don't think they can take both of them. And I'm really into that story. So man, it's just so good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Like the fact that, those two gentlemen will have a steel cage match next week. The draft is going to be super soon, which is like, wow, we are officially restarting everything and we are going into the draft. I don't know, this whole pay-per-view schedule, the format of the matches, everything seems new. I'm excited. I don't want to jinx it and say let's see how long it's going to last, because I hope it lasts just as long. I hope that every time we tune in feels like it's supposed to be the Raw after Mania, because they killed it. And then we go into for the rest of the week, all we really have is Dynamite, which Edge versus Penta was really good. Really good match. They're setting up. I knew Penta would be able to carry a lot of the lucha style moves, but I did not think that Copeland would, and he surprised me.
That was my part. Yeah,
that seeing Adam Copeland just pull off a Hurricane Rana like that, wild. A spinning, yeah, no. I was talking to Donovan prior to starting recording, and I'm just like, that's one of the few things that I like that Copeland pointed out last week during his hoorah speech for AEW is like, I get to fight Penta, I get to fight Osprey, I get to fight, and they're all first time matches, you know, and so and he's holding up to that promise with this Cope Open and stuff. I think that's the greatest thing on where that's going on, aside from the main event scene, you know. So I'm absolutely enjoying it, honestly. Minus the other instances from that night.
I'm just gonna Tony Schiavone it right now and just
no. So that's kind of why I didn't want to like say it in the Discord chat and come off as disingenuous, because I was like that Schiavone head shake was traumatizing. That was a very traumatizing. Like, I knew it once he did it afterwards, and I was like, oh no, don't give him more. Don't give him more.
So two of my favorite people in AEW had by far their worst nights working with this company. That would be Renee Paquette, because of Will Ospreay's promo. Okay, so being the AEW fan I am, I was like, cool, they're gonna show the actual footage. I didn't want the footage because of, this would sour Punk. I wanted the footage because I need closure. Like, why would you bring up something but say you're done with it? Like, it piques my curiosity. I needed the closure, so I wanted to see that until I'm able to actually be backstage. Like, these moments will always be something I like because I want to know more about what goes on. So I was like, ooh, they're going to actually show it. This is going to be interesting. And the Young Bucks, the way they made it, I was like, you made this in such a comedic way that it saved what was about to be shown, because they were like, well, FTR did it. Like, after they said FTR did it, like, Sean Rossap tweeted out as a joke, and he's been like, FTR has been behind every NXT parking lot spot that's ever existed. And I was like, oh, this is okay. Like, FTR, like, we'll just meme FTR for this. And then they showed it. And like Chris said, the Schiavone head shake where he was just tucked away, I was like, ugh, this is not good. This is going to be very bad later on. And
I want to address one thing, and I said it in the Discord too. I had to refresh my TikTok feed 10 times because each time I kept scrolling, there was someone with an opinion about the goddamn video. Don't get me wrong, I'm like Donovan too. I love to know what the fuck happened backstage at that, and there was like, okay, I'm interested, you know, like they delivered. They didn't bait and switch. I wish there was audio, like some people would have asked. Like, some people on the internet say that I wish there was audio myself too. Punk was the aggressor. It's I don't know. Like, I feel like there was intention. I think there was an expectation in putting out that video of, okay, well, we're just trying to like prove this guy wrong, okay? And devil's advocate, he did say a lot of the stuff aside from Perry coming up to him,
Yeah.
okay? Like that was clear, but that's a CM Punkism at that point. You know, it's like, oh, he came up to me. That's like, oh, well, Sean, did you do it? Were you in on this? You know, like it came off as that, and I like it did, and I hate to agree, and I steered away from it because at that point it gets so toxic. It's just like the finger poke of doom. I'm like, chill. Finger poke of doom was a fever dream, okay? we don't talk about that, okay? But it wasn't the finger poke of doom style of Buried itself. It was more of a, we tried to prove a point, and we saw quickly that one person wanted to prove a point and no one else wanted to prove the point. I.e., it's been 8 months later. Why are we still talking about this? Like Cash Wheeler said. And they turned it into, they tried to salvage it and turn it into an angle where it's like, you were the reason why we lost the titles because it was such a big night. And I'm just like, I want to believe you, but I'm like, it's, you can't follow something like that and then expect not to get backlash from it. And I feel like they were expecting like, oh, everyone's going to be on our side. I don't want to think that way, because there was only one person who was like, I need people on my side, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
I need people on my side, so I need to put this out, and it turned out like it backfired. I'm sorry, it backfired so heavily.
Yeah, it did.
And don't get me wrong, I give AEW shit, you know, like I'll make the occasion joke of, oh, you know, hey, 600 people, you know, whatever. Like, I don't say it hurtfully or anything like that. I go along with the madness and tune in next week, see what they do next, you know. But this, I don't want to say they buried themselves. It's not that. It's just, why do it on the week after a major show when WWE is hot? Okay, that's one reason.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the argument of, well, they started taking shots at us during their media press week. It's regardless of whether it was on their primetime television, it's still a show that had internet media presence and stuff. Yes, but they still didn't do it on their show. I give Ospreay a little bit more credit for fighting back.
Yeah.
Like, I give him more credit. I like the Ospreay jab back because it tells Triple H, like, you know, there's that inner talk. Like, I know Ospreay and H talk. You know, they're the same kind of person. They want the same thing for the business, and they see it, but don't bringing in the Steph stuff and then having Renee right next to it, and she's kind of looking down, giving her own Shivani shrug, like, oh, you didn't have to bring her into that. Like I would have wanted like Orange Cassidy at least to be the guy holding up the microphone at that point, and like like, I'm sorry, I don't hate AEW. I get annoyed with it, as do all wrestling at certain points in times, and the only reason why it gets more annoying is when people have to have an opinion about shit that they have to get filtered into a certain minutia of people, like, well, I believe this and I believe that, and they're right, you're wrong, all this bullshit. It's men in tights fighting. Okay, it just happens to be that there's childish men in tights fighting, not in the ring, but outside of the ring, and they're making it way more of an issue than it should be, and, you know, that's how it is.
I agree.
That's
I agree, because a lot of the backlash is like, and like for me and DJ, like, we are diehard, it's in our DNA football fans. We played. We are diehard fans, and there have been fans on Twitter who are like, "Well, this happens in football," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're suspended, drug tested, counseled, and almost out of a contract. Like the shit that Aaron Donald did, the preseason workout when they worked out with the Bengals, and he just started throwing his helmets. Like he didn't walk away and go, "Oh well, it's a work, kid." No, that's not how.
Yeah.
Also,
how this
example
works.
is Antonio Brown and all his antics. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Like-
yeah. So
I understand where some people are like, well, yeah, Jack Perry needed to be taught a lesson. For one, you wouldn't go up to your coworker and punch them. So don't try to act like this is a normal thing. This isn't. Two, there are repercussions. Yes, he's the voice of the voiceless. You idolize him. That's fine. But to be like, this makes him a legend.
that's a reach.
No,
Yeah.
I will show you the tweets, dude. I will
That's a
literally
reach.
I will show you the tweets.
And remember, I give Donovan shit for hating on CM Punk, and I said that. That's a reach.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
I will show you the tweets, man. People are calling him, look, this one right here, Ghost of Madness, the man, the myth, the legend, CM
Damn,
Punk.
called him out.
Dude,
So-
there are so many people that are like,
Let's simmer down and let D-Day talk. We're getting a
Yeah.
little too passionate.
I have no
Woosah.
skin in this game. I don't care about CM Punk one way or the other. I really don't. It's he can think about himself what he wants to think about himself and call himself whatever he wants to call himself. That's fine and dandy. To me, this is bringing up something that was buried months ago.
yes.
Whether it was brought up by an interviewer, hey, what was your take on this? What was your side? You can explain yourself. And he did. His version of the facts. Great. Not a problem. As they say, there's three sides to every story. His side, your side, and the truth. So instead of releasing the footage that really didn't show much of anything, let Jack Perry tell his side again. CM Punk brought up his side. Fine. Everybody knows that it's somewhere in the middle, and be done with it. But it was a grab at trying to get
Ratings.
attention during WWE's most popular week and nothing more, and then turning it into a work. And I haven't seen Shivani shrug like that since WCW.
That was during was that if you could
Bash at the
correct-
Beach
yeah,
2000.
Bash at the Beach. That was when that was shown, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him, and he did it often at WCW, especially at the end. He couldn't believe the stuff that they were throwing out to put on air. And that just made me think, is it a sinking ship? I don't think it is. I think that they'll recover from it. I think that the wrestlers that they have there are much better than what WCW had. The wrestling for AEW, to me, is better than what you get at WWE. I watch WWE because I get wrestling with the story. I watch AEW just for the wrestling because they are fantastic matches. And we have the Cope Challenge, and you have someone that you bring up, Penta, and I'm like, how is this match going to work? I didn't think Edge had it in him to run that match, and he proved me wrong because it was a phenomenal match, and I loved it. Absolutely, it was great. I didn't know, and I guess I missed maybe what Triple H had said to trigger Ospreay.
Yeah. on the Pat McAfee show. He said
Yeah,
that
I guess I missed it. I
yeah.
mean, I don't listen to Pat McAfee normally, so I didn't know what set him off. But I'm like, that just seems okay. If you want to bring that up, but the look on Renee's face, I was just like, wow, all right. That just doesn't seem like she was either knew what he was going to say, or just was awkward and she didn't want to be a part of it. And digging around a little bit this afternoon, apparently they were told what to say,
Yes.
and it was given to them.
Mhm.
And so what both of them,
Yeah.
Young Bucks didn't want to do it, but they were told you're going to do this.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay was given a promo to read, and he delivered it. And yeah, I don't think that either one of them were all too thrilled with it. So yeah, man, I don't know. I'm hoping that this kind of gets swept under the rug. Maybe Tony won't have any more big announcements coming up for the next few weeks, and it just goes back to wrestling, and we can enjoy the good matches that we're going to get. And it just kind of quietly goes
into the night.
Yeah. Just let it blow by, and let's get back to what makes the companies successful. Because if they actually start another wrestling war between companies,
everyone makes money.
You're not going to beat WWE.
No, but everyone makes money.
At that
point.
And I don't think it will happen. And WWE doesn't have enough money to buy out AEW like they did WCW, at least as of right now, because the con money is boatloads and boatloads of money.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't man, I don't know. I was disappointed, very, very disappointed.
What got me was the Forbes card.
Oh no, yeah.
Did you see that, DJ?
No.
So
you can explain it. You
did
sent
I send it to you, or did I send it to? Okay. Forbes. Great. Yeah. Eric Gomez put it. CM Punk defeated Jack Perry. It was AEW Dynamite results, April 10th, 2024. Edge defeating Penta El Zero Medio. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm going to butcher the shit out of that. CM Punk defeated Jack Perry. Backstage footage from AEW All In 2023. Shane Taylor Promotions defeat Chris Jericho, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata, which was so good. Plus, we got to hear Montezzi, which that literally, I put it on Facebook. That literally was the highlight of my life. Kazuchika Okada defeats Cristiano. Mariah May defeats Anna Jay, which she has been in a bunch of memes today. Also, I feel so sorry for her because, yeah, dude.
I cut it off. I'm sorry. I'm in the dark about most of this stuff.
So Anna Jay has been in a bunch of memes because it's a bunch of guys saying, "We know Jack Perry can't fight. Come here, girl." And then Samoa Joe beats
SMH.
Dustin Rhodes, which turned into a meme itself when it said you get the Samoan versus the Rhodes from Wish.com.
So
this entire card has
I argue that was a good business move to give Dustin a title shot. I thought that was actually well booked to do that. I was like, it's a joke, it's a joke,
Yeah.
So but I get I don't know.
Yeah, no, dude. I saw it too, and I think I saved one because I wanted to use it as an example.
I know Morgan was it Morgan that sent me the Wish Amazon thing?
I have no idea.
No, that was Unk, I think, or Bree.
So that's the picture of Roman, and it says, "Thanks to the footage, now I know Jack Perry can't fight. What's up, Anna Jay?"
bro.
Like she is getting backlash for this. And as much as I wanted to see the footage, I wish we never got it because there's nothing good that has come out of this at all.
The only, and I saw it on Twitter. The only person that benefited off of this is Drew McIntyre.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna make.
Yeah.
So somebody put a good, like, what series of events that would happen. is the
Grayson
fact-
Waller even made fun of it.
Yeah, he did.
Waller made fun of it. Cedric Alexander said something about it. Dijak said something about it. It was just a roast.
Somebody
Yeah.
put a series of events and they were like, so say this footage is out. Drew McIntyre makes another shirt, cuts a couple of promos, and right before they're scheduled to like have a match, since he hasn't gotten to contract negotiations yet, he just leaves and goes to like TNA or something. Goes back to where he grew up. That is the greatest bait and switch that he could possibly do for CM Punk at this point. Is CM Punk is be the thorn in CM Punk's side for a move that CM Punk would have done. So I don't know.
I don't want to mention the clowning, but it's take it on the chin, kid. Take it on the chin and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's at that point where, and I had a conversation with Morgan about this, and this will be one of our final thoughts is, and if this gets me hate now, I'm sorry, this is just how I feel, is she was asking me about the indie promotions that were running the same weekend as WrestleMania, that Saturday and that Sunday. And she was like, do you ever look at that? Because one day, you know, you may get booked for that weekend. And I said, I will never take a booking for that weekend. Like, why would I do that? That is the biggest show in the world in professional wrestling. Nobody's going to watch it. And where this is all coming to is Tony should have realized that. Like, hey, they are coming off the biggest possible week they could in 40 years. Why do anything to poke the bear? What are you going to get out of this other than absolute hate? And so it's just, when Chris said it, like, he should have read the room. There's a lot of people who get too emotional and don't read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at the situation and go, I'm not going to be the bigger person right now. So why would I do this? Or I'm not going to benefit from this. And we just saw a clear example last night.
Yeah. If I was WWE, you let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say, don't acknowledge it. You don't say anything. You just keep on putting on stellar shows and changing things up, which I love the new set designs. Smaller to me is better. I saw today that they said that they were really going to concentrate on putting butts in the seats rather than having an elaborate stage show, which is great for wrestling. If I were them, you don't respond. You don't turn it in kind. Just let it go and keep on putting excellent product out there.
Yeah, because
I kind of would like to think of it being like, okay, they're minimalist with the weekly shows, but they're going to be more grandiose. You know how, you know my thought process on that? It's like, well, they're cutting back on production, so they're going to have a lot more money to, but if they don't and they stick with that whole thing, I mean, it's a UFC fight feel at that point, and I'm not opposed.
I would only ask for one thing, and it was bring back the bars from SmackDown.
The bars?
You remember how they used to...
Oh, from the Fox SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bring those into this small minimalist entrance, and I think that'd look cool. Plus, it could go with the Titantron that's ceasing to exist. So, any more thoughts? Anything on this week in professional wrestling? Anything else you got to say?
What a week. Absolutely exhausting, but phenomenal. Time to rest up. We got tonight and then, tomorrow SmackDown. We'll see what they bring. I'm excited for the new era. I'm glad the gauntlet has been dropped. I'm hoping other promotions pick it up, and we just get world-class wrestling for an extended period of time. I'm ready for it.
I'm excited. I'm very much excited. Who knows what this new era is going to bring? What about you, Chris? Any other thoughts?
No, same sentiment. Just let's see what Friday holds. Friday after Mania, lead into something that gets Cody's ball rolling and go from there. See what happens. Drafts, as far as draft is concerned, I'm curious because, like you said, even NXT is going to have a bigger presence on it, and like seeing Ivar on there, it's on NXT television. On top of, like, we could see Maxine Dupree on NXT, like give it some logical like placements and stuff, like who should be up on main shows, who shouldn't, and stuff like that. So other than that, I'm really gonna hold my speculation until I watch it on the television. At this point, I'm not speculation. I'm more reactionary. So
first SmackDown without Roman being champion in how many years? Wow. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can follow us all. First off, you can follow DJ at the Exegesis Podcast on YouTube. And what is your Twitter handle?
It is the Exegesis R5
for the Red 5 Network, which you guys can also find all their cool shows because you guys have like 75,000 different podcasts on there full of all sorts of different cool things from Star Wars to Marvel to yeah. So you guys can go and find the Red 5 Network because they are actually really cool and they have a bunch of cool people who have a bunch of amazing shows. You guys can follow us at Downtime in the Ring on Instagram, on YouTube. We don't have a Twitter. I'm going to say that every week because I keep forgetting to make one. Maybe I'll remember. You guys can also catch our weekly interviews every Saturday Mountain Time. This week, we actually had the president of WSN come down, give stellar compliments to everybody who was on the crew and the roster for the WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 episodes, including the WrestleMania prediction show, because everybody put in a great amount of effort and we couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys go, if you are in New Mexico, hurry up and go buy your tickets for Breaking GCW April 21st. For one, I want to see how many people are going to be there, and two, this is the first GCW show in the state of New Mexico ever. Like, you need to support this. We need everybody to sell this out. This needs to sell out so much that we have to set up monitors in the parking lot. Like, that's how much this needs to be pushed, because this is a huge opportunity for everybody in professional wrestling here in New Mexico. Go check out OTR, Prime Wrestling. Those are two amazing schools out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you guys ever have any questions, know any wrestlers that want to be on, you guys can also hit up the socials at FCH1 on Twitter. That is mine. You guys can hit me up. You guys, if you guys message the Instagram, you will be talking to Chris, and let's set up an interview. Let's get you guys pushed out and let's make history. Later.